Hello my dear students, let us continue with the different types of shallow foundations. I have already started the spread footings. So now all of you know the spread footing is a type of shallow foundation used to transmit the load of an isolated column or that of a wall to the subsoil. Okay, here it spreads the superimposed load of a wall or a column over a larger area. And here the loads are light and they are strong shallow soils. This is usually the most common type of foundation because of its low cost and ease of construction. And here the base of the column or wall is enlarged or spread to provide individual support for the load. Usually it consists of a concrete slabs located under each structural column and a continuous slab under load bearing walls. And usually they are used for small to medium sized structures with moderate to good soil conditions. It is not recommended for high rise buildings. So here there are different types of footings, spread footings. The first one is single footing for column. Here the load of the column has been spread to the larger size through a single spread. And stepped footing for column. Here this type of footing provided for heavily loaded column which required greater spread with the steps. Okay, the base is generally made of concrete. Next is sloped footing for columns. In this type of footing, concrete base does not have uniform thickness but is made sloped. And wall footing without step, it consists of concrete base without any steps including masonry wall. Stepped footing for wall, it consists of masonry wall have stepped footing with concrete base. Last one is grillage foundation. It is special type of isolated footing generally provided for heavily loaded steel column and used in those locations where bearing capacity of soil is poor. Each layer being laid at right angles to the layer below it. You can see here this is a single footing. Okay, only one spread. Okay, this is a column and foundation is like this. Okay, and next one is I told about stepped footing. Here this is with the spread with the steps. Okay, so you can see here this is a spread with the steps. You can see here this is a single spread, here spread with the steps. Next one is sloped footing. Here it is the concrete base is made slope. The concrete base does not have uniform thickness but made slope. You can see here. Okay, this is made slope here in this case. So this is a sloped footing. Okay, next this is wall footing, that is this one without steps. It consists of a concrete base without any steps and it consists of a masonry wall have stepped footing with concrete base. For wall, this is stepped footing, this is wall footing without step, this is wall footing with the steps here. Okay, you can see here also simple wall footing without masonry here. This is suitable for when SBC is low. Okay, this is a simple wall footing without masonry offsets. Here wall footing with masonry offsets, stepped wall footing when SBC is low. You can see here these are stepped wall footing. You can see here again concrete base, this is a concrete base, this is single spread and this is the stepped one, this is the sloped one. Okay, single footing column and stepped here, see here, and this is sloped. Okay, and grillage foundation like this. This is a column, here the iron plate will be provided and this thing, this from here to here, that is steel beams of grillage. Okay, this is a concrete pad. So this is about the spread footing. Now I think all of you understood how would be the single footing, stepped footing, sloped footing, wall footings, and this is without masonry and this is with masonry, and this is about grillage foundation. Next, let us discuss about isolated footing. When spread footing is provided to support an individual column, it is called isolated footing. Understood? Spread footing is provided to support an individual column. It is called isolated footing. These footings are for individual columns having the same plan, forms of square, rectangular or circular as that of the column, preferably maintaining the proportions and symmetry to that the resultants of the applied forces and reactions coincide. Though sloped footings are economical in respect of the material, the additional cost of formwork does not offset the cost of the saved material. Therefore, stepped footings are more economical than sloped ones. The adjoining soil below footings generates upward pressure which bends the slab due to cantilever action. Hence, adequate tensile reinforcement should be provided at the bottom of the slab, that is on tension phase. Though symmetrical footings are desirable, sometimes situation compels for unsymmetrical isolated footings, eccentric footings or footings with cutouts, either about one or both the axes. These footings shown in figures consist of a slab of uniform thick, stepped or sloped. You can see here, this is a uniform and rectangular footing. Okay, this is a footing. You can see here. This is stepped rectangular footing, stepped and rectangular footing. This is uniform. You can see here, this is a uniform rectangular footing, but here this is a stepped rectangular footing. Okay. Again, that is different cross sections. Everything is shown here. This is the plan, and D here. This is capital D, D by 2, and all. Okay. So means this is sections are taken. That is 1, that is for moments, and 2, 3 and 4, that is for, you can see here, 3 and 4, that is for one-way shear, and for punching shear, that is marked as 5. This you don't need to go in deep. You just you should know what is uniform and rectangular footing, how it looks like. Okay, here also there are section details are there for moments 1 and 2, and one way it is 3 and 4, and two-way punching shear marked by 5. So this is about stepped or rectangular footing, and this is sloped and rectangular footing. This you can see here, this is sloped and rectangular footing. Okay, this like this, it is sloped and rectangular footing. This is unsymmetrical footing about x-axis. This is not symmetrical, this is unsymmetrical footing. Okay, and you can see here some of the figures of this. This is a square footing, it looks like this, and this is a circular footing. This is square footing with pedestal and sloped footing. Practically you can see here. Okay, these are all example for isolated footing. You can see here, slope footing, this is stepped, this is stepped. Okay. Next, let us discuss about combined footing. A combined footing is the one which supports two or more columns, and it may be rectangular or trapezoidal in plan. The aim is to get uniform pressure distribution under the footing. For this, the center of gravity of the footing area should coincide with the center of gravity of the combined loads of the two columns. Okay, here this is maybe a rectangular or trapezoidal in plan, and here the center of the gravity of the footing area should coincide with the center of gravity of the combined loads of the two columns. And when the spacing of the adjacent column is so close that separate isolated footings are not possible due to the overlapping areas of the footings, or inadequate clear space between the two areas of the footings, combined footings are the solution combining two or more columns. You understood, no? When the spacing of the adjacent column is so close that separate isolated footings you cannot provide. It's not possible to provide due to the overlapping areas of the footings or inadequate clear space between the two areas of the footing. In such case, the combined footings are the best option, combining two or more columns. Combined footings normally means a footing combining two columns. When the bearing capacity of the soil is less, requiring more area under individual footing, this method is best suitable. The combined footing may be rectangular in shape if both the columns carry equal loads, or may be trapezoidal if they carry unequal loads. Okay, if the columns carry equal loads, then you can go for rectangular footing. Or if the columns carry unequal loads, then you have to go for trapezoidal combined footing. Trapezoidal footing is provided when the load on one of the column is larger than the other column. Generally, combined footings are constructed of reinforced concrete. It is assumed that the footing is rigid and rests on a homogeneous soil, so as to give rise to a linear stress distribution on the bottom of the footing. If the resultant of the soil pressure coincide with the resultant of the loads, that is center of gravity of the footing, the soil pressure is assumed to be uniformly distributed. A combined footing is also provided when the property line is so close to one column that a spread footing would be essentially loaded when kept entirely within the property line. By combining it with that of an interior column, the load is evenly distributed. You can see here, this is a rectangular combined footing. Okay, this is a trapezoidal footing. You can see here, the loads are carried by, column carries the equal loads here. That's why it is rectangular. Here load PA is equal to PB. And this is rectangular only, but PA is small than PB. And this is a property line. Okay, that is about this point. If the a combined footing is also provided when the property line is so close to one column that a spread footing would be essentially loaded when kept entirely within the property line. So this is also one of the case. You can go ahead with the rectangular footing. One is when it carries equal load, and other thing is when the property line is so close to one of the column. Okay, and if the loads are unequal, the column carries unequal loads, then you have to go for trapezoidal. This is about trapezoidal combined footing. You can see here, this is a rectangular footing and this is trapezoidal footing. It looks like this. Okay, this is a footing. These are the columns. These are columns and footings. This is also columns combined footing. This is a section and plan. You can see here two columns, rectangular combined footing. This is trapezoidal combined footing. Okay, section looks like this. This is rectangular combined footing. Rectangular combined footing is provided if both columns carry equal loads. Okay, if the load, this is P1 and this is P2, these two are the columns, this is the depth. Okay, and this is breadth and depth of the column footing. Here this is a rectangular footing. How to find the calculation, how to design the rectangular combined footing, we'll see. The design of rigid rectangular combined footing consists in determining the location of center of gravity of the column loads and using length and width dimensions such that centroid of the footing and the centroid of the column loads coincide. The resulting pressure distribution will be rectangular as shown in the figure, and it is calculated by using this equation. Q is equal to P1 plus P2 divided by B per unit area. The column loads may be considered to be concentrated loads, and the resulting shear force and bending moment diagrams can be plotted. Thank you.